Greetings all, and welcome back to Globbits Gaming Channel. The tank in question today, the video is today going to be about the E-75. Basically because I recently got my Mastery Badge game in it, so I thought it would prompt a bit of a look at it. I wanted to wait until I got it fully unlocked, and I kind of got a bit to grips of how to actually play it. General consensus, this tank is a beast. It's absolutely fantastic in nearly every single region that you could possibly want from a heavy tank. It's an absolute beast. It's, for me, pound for pound, the best tier 9 heavy tank. If not the best tier 9. It's just absolutely amazing. Personally, from what I've heard, I would prefer this tank to the E100. The difference between this and the E100 is the E100 gets a 750mm gun, alpha damage gun, sorry, and a little bit better armor, but it's a lot slower. Personally, I think this is German engineering at its pinnacle. If you like the German playstyle and the way the German tanks play, with the boxiness and the angling and all the rest of it, you're going to absolutely adore this vehicle. So let's get into it then. Right, it's got just shy of 2,000 hit points, which is tier 10 medium tank territory. I mean, let's just have a look at my latest acquisition in the tier 10 bracket for the British. The FV4202 only has 30 more hit points, and that's a tier 10, but it is a medium tank. There are some tier 10 heavy tanks that would be, you know, grateful of this kind of hit point level. But the thing is, that's the German thing. All right, the Tiger 2 at tier 8 has a little bit more health than all the other tier 8. So does the Tiger at tier 7. It weighs 92 tons. It's one of the heaviest heavy tanks in the game. Don't ram it. And if you get the opportunity to, if you reach your top speed of 40 kilometers an hour with your 900 horsepower engine, and you get opportunity to ram lighter things, go for it. Do it. Simple reason is you're going to cause a hell of a lot more damage to them than they do to you. Traverse speed is 30 degrees a second, which isn't shabby. It's not too bad. I mean, let's just have a look at the IS-8, for example. Same as the IS-8, and the IS-8 is considered to be a mobile heavy tank. I mean, this isn't fully unlocked yet, but it's considered to be quite mobile, so it keeps up with all the others. The hull armor and the turret armor is where this thing absolutely shines. This is like a glistening jewel in the world of armor. Okay, right. Go through it slowly then. 160mm of frontal hull armor on the upper plate. And look at the angling. Now, what the angling means, for those that you don't understand, is the further back, swept back the armor is, the effective thickness increases. So even though it says 160 there, you're more likely looking around about 220 maybe. So what this means is somebody shooting at you with, let's say, an IS-3's gun or the Tiger 2's gun is more than likely going to bounce off your upper plate. Your lower plate is slightly thinner, but it is swept back at a ridiculous angle, same as the upper plate. And if you angle this tank at its optimal angle, I would say around about there, alright, it's going to be even thicker. It's very, very, very difficult to penetrate this tank's frontal hull armor from the front. Very, very difficult, unless you're using either gold or some ridiculously high penetration tank destroyer guns. The side armor is 120 and the rear is 120 as well. This gives you some protection from side shots, from things like light tanks and scouts. I've actually been in my Walker Bulldog shooting at the back of an angled E-75 rear, and I ended up bouncing because, again, the back is actually angled as well. The side isn't. It does have some side skirt protection here, but this is just a big target zone, and the ammo racks around here as well. So you need to be careful of getting flanked. It's like the same as any heavy tank, though. The 120mm of hull armor, though, means that this tank is an absolute demon at side scraping. The video I'm going to show you, my mastery video, I'm going to try and show you what I mean by side scraping. I did show people in my how to do the M103 video, which is probably one of my most popular videos. I'm going to try and do a recap on it in the next video. I'm going to try and do it in my mastery badge video. Right, frontal turret armor, 252mm, but it's flat. All right. Weaknesses on the turret, your cupola, they're not going to be shooting at your gun mantlet, guys. They're not going to be shooting at your front plate of your turret or your cheeks, because your cheeks, even though they are 160, are ridiculously well angled. They're almost auto bounce zones, the cheeks of the turret. They're going to be shooting this roof plate, all right, which again is ridiculously auto bounce angled to aim for this particular point here, this cupola. Now, what I found is a couple of times people have bounced off my roof plate here. And because of the way the ricochets work in this game now, the shots ricocheted off and twatted my cupola, which is a bit of a problem because it is quite pronounced. It's quite well armoured, but it is actually quite pronounced. and the side of the turret and the rear of the turret are 160mm. That means that scout tanks with sub 150 pen guns, tier 6, tier 7 scouts, they're going to bounce off your side of your turret more than often. So, armour, this thing, wow. The gun it gets, alright, the armour's just amazing, guys. Just it is an absolute beast. People have a hell of a game. If you're top tier in this tank and the opposite heavies don't know what to do with you, you're just going to have an absolute monstrous game. The gun, you basically start off from your research tree. You won't have the top gun to start with, okay? You'll have this one from the Tiger 2, I believe. Yeah, this is the gun you'll start off with, alright? The 10.5cm KWK L68. The gun you want is this bad boy, alright? The KWK 12.8cm L55. Right. Grinding with this gun isn't too bad. You're basically a Tiger 2 on steroids, alright? When you get the turret, the stock turret isn't that good. 185 at the front, 80 at the sides and rear is pretty naff. When you get this top turret, you become a Tiger 2 on steroids, and you can catch people out using this gun, the 105 or the 10.5. For the simple reason, if we compare them and look at the rate of fire on the different guns, yes, the penetration, but the rate of fire catches people out. Okay, the L68. The 12.8cm gun actually has 6.59 rounds a minute, which means it fires about 8 every 8 seconds. This one's 3.8. It fires like every 13 seconds. It's got a good 15-second reload stock-ish. I mean, don't quote me on the exact stats. So people think, if they don't look at your tank properly, that you'll shoot them, and then they've got a really long reload to cope with, and they can do their manoeuvring and all the rest. It really catches out medium and light. And then if you got this gun equipped, you just shoot them again, and they're like, what the fuck? So they take an extra hit, which can work out to your favour. And also, this gun's a lot more accurate and a lot better aiming time. But it only does 320 alpha, alright, with a 225 pen, which is more than adequate at tier 8. At tier 10, tier 9, not so much. This gun, though, is the one everyone's talking about. Alright, the 128mm. 146 pen and 490 alpha. This is a brawling gun, guys. This is not a sniper rifle. This is a brawling gun. The idea and purpose of this weapon is to get up in people's faces where the accuracy and the aiming time really don't matter, alright, and just punish them with 490 alpha every 11 to 12 seconds. Alright, that's what this gun's designed for, and it's got the penetration to punch through at really close range. Your premium ammunition has got a ridiculous amount of pen. Well, it's not ridiculous, 311 pen. So it's something, it's APCR, it's not heat, alright, which I think is better. APCR, I always favour APCR over heat for brawling guns. For the simple reason is APCR for me is more of a brawling kind of ammo. Heat retains its penetration over distance. Well, that's a sniper's weapon, from my personal opinion. You don't have to worry about losing pen over distance. APCR is more of a close-up brawling ammunition. I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with me, but I don't care. I prefer APCR to heat. Alright, and heat doesn't work against angled and spaced armour anyway. Shooting at Russian things, it's fucking pointless. You may as well just use APCR. Anyway, so it's a brawling tank as far as I'm concerned. This tank is designed to get up close to your enemy, use your angles, use your playstyle, and just absolutely punish them. Alright, your turret traverse is pretty naff. Alright, 18 degrees a second, but it's a big-ass heavy tank. It's got a decent view range, 400 metres, 422, but view range isn't really your thing in this tank, okay? You're going to be less than 400 metres away from your opponents anyway. But in the later game, it's handy to have a 400 metre view range, and the signal range is pretty good. Right, crew skills. Repairs for your first skill. Guys, do not take any other skill but repairs. This thing gets tracked all the time. It's a side scraping tank and it needs to angle, so therefore people always go for your tracks. If you get hit by a gun that's got a 10-second reload and you haven't got full repairs, they can keep you permanently tracked. Okay? They'll shoot your drive sprocket off permanently. It takes around about 11 to 12 seconds to actually repair this tank with a crew that doesn't have a repair skill. With repair skill, it takes it below 10 seconds, so therefore heavy tanks and things can't actually perma-track you. It allows you to adjust yourself and you're not just getting pummeled, because one of the weak points, if this tank's angled correctly, is to shoot you through your drive sprocket and hit the side armour in here. You don't want that to happen. When your crew get their second skill, though, this is where you have to make a bit of a sacrifice. What I did is I went for 6 cents on my commander. Alright, straight away. I retrained my commander when he got enough in the second skill to 6 cents. I did safe stowage for the loader, but then it carried on with repairs. When they all get 100% on their second skill, I'll change them all over to Brothers in Arms. Carry on repairs with the commander, carry on repairs with the loader, and then work on these skills like your clutch braking, your snapshot, and your situational awareness and all that kind of good stuff. That's my personal opinion. Once you get up into level 4 and 5 crew skills, it's personal choice. Take the maneuverability stuff, take your bits and pieces and make you a little bit, but maybe even firefighting. You know, firefighting might be useful. Camouflage, not so much. All right. Equipment fit, I've gone for vert stabilizers. Basically, if you can fit a vert stab, it's nearly always wise to do so. I've also then gone for ventilation and a tank gun rammer. Now, the reason I went for vents instead of a what was it? Where is it? Enhanced gun lane drive. Vents give you 5% to everything. Gun lane drive gives you 10% just to aiming. It's a brawling heavy tank. It doesn't really need that aiming as far as I'm concerned. That's just my personal opinion. Some people fit it, but this thing gives you extra 5% on your reload. And with a gun with this longer reload, 13.25 seconds, you really do need to worry about the reload. Your DPM, this affects every part of your tank. Your turning speed, your traverse speed, your turret traverse speed, everything. Okay, so me personally, ventilation is the way forward. That's just my personal opinion, and that's what I'm sticking to. All right, so let's actually get into the gameplay then. All right, and let's have a look and see what this thing's good at when it gets into a town. All right. Right, and here we go then. First game. Well, my Mastery Badge game kind of gives it away. We're on highway. Teams are pretty even. Our team's got a lot more experience in regards to games, but it's pretty much a stone's throw on the abilities of the in regards to efficiency in WN8. So it should make for a good game. They've got a little bit more advantage in the way of tank destroyers. We've got more heavy tanks, but we've got more mediums. So the decision I made here, and this is the decision you have to make in the early game, guys. Well, how am I going to play when I get there to where I'm going? I'm deciding to go into the town, but how am I going to play when I get there? Well, looking at this, we've got more higher tier heavies than they have. In fact, let me just change over the thing. We've got a couple of E100s, but they've got... Well, in fact, look, it's pretty even split, to be perfectly honest with you. Alright, so what I decided to do was go into the town, and I'm going to get my side scrape on. This M103 here hasn't got the top gun, so he's going to be struggling with the higher tier heavies. If he gets his top gun's really, really good as well. It's a bit faster firing than mine. In fact, it's a lot faster firing. The PPM in the M103 is a lot better, I believe, than the E-75. Somebody crunched the numbers on that one. I think it is, because the reload's a lot quicker, and the penetration on that gun's really, really good. It's basically the gun that the T110E5 gets. So we're just trundling our way down, and I'm going to take an aggressive position down in K0. Alright, because one of the classic places people come is to up the K0 through that, just have a look, where's me thingy? Let's bring the mini-map up. How do I bring the mini-map up? I forgot how to do it. Doesn't matter. It's on a mod pack. Okay, there's a square K9. There's a big square of buildings. They like to hang around in there. I'm just giving this M103 a nudge. I don't necessarily want to get past him. I want him to go first because the people will shoot at him. And that's really selfish. However, if they're shooting at him, they ain't shooting at me. Apparently, according to Object 130, we're all idiots anyway. Right, okay. Take a pot shot, the 5120, and take one in return. Thankfully, it hits me in the tracks. Okay, guys. Now this, I'm attempting to start side scraping. All right, I'll just let myself carry on. I make my left-hand track. Oh no, I don't. Wrong. This is where I side scrape. Sorry, I did watch the video. I promise. I'm going to plant my left-hand track close to that corner building that I can and reverse out at an angle. Alright, and I've spotted an IS-7 and an E100. Alright, now that IS-7's also trying to side scrape along with the E100. The only problem I've got is I'm not at what I would class as the optimum angle. Alright, I've shown some of my lower plate, and my side armour is at slightly more of an angle than what I'd like it to be. But this is the basic position you want to be in when you're coming up to a corner in an E-75. Alright, let's just see how it plays out. Alright. Now, I take a hit there because my angling's absolutely shocking. I don't know where they actually hit me. Yeah, they're aiming for my weak spot. Alright, these little nodules on the side of the turret are actually... I don't necessarily class them as weak spots, but they are hit boxes, if you know what I mean, unlike the T29. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try... I didn't want to face an E100 and IS-7 from the front, so I decided I want to try and side scrape slash in the corner on this IS-7. Now, I came around at a stupid angle there, but I managed to get away with it. Now that E-75 there is doing a perfect demonstration of how to side scrape. That guy there. I will do some later on, guys, I promise you. Alright, and I decided that this position is pretty much no bueno. There's no real point being here. I can't do anything. I can't challenge an IS-7 and an E-100 from the front. That E-75 managed to bounce off me because I'm angled. Try and stay angled whenever you can. Try and use this armour. Now here's where we start the side scraping shenanigans, because there's a double building here. Gives me a chance to get set up. I take a hit on the way in, and this is your side scraping position. There you go. They can still see my lower plate, but my side armour's nicely angled. And what I'll do is I'll pop out, I'll take my shot, and then I'll drive forward again. Alright, only presenting an angled side to this E100. And hopefully, if I remember rightly, yep, there we go. Straight through the bottom plate of the E100. Right, and this is where I basically start working these guys over. These guys are in a hell of a position now. Okay, they've got heavy tanks to their front, and they've also got me on the flank. I'm just waiting to reload. The E100 knows much better than to shoot my angled side armour. I'm just having a bit of a jockey for position, just to hopefully tempt a shot out of him before I stick myself out. Oh, IS-7. Bang. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it did actually penetrate. I thought that hit his tracks, but that went through. Fantastic. We're working these guys over. They're in a whole world of pain. This E100 now, what this E100 needs to do, he needs to push me. He needs to push. He's hanging back, giving me shots on his lower plate. And he just keeps firing at my chunky upper plate. And there's no way on this planet you see it there. Now, this is about all they're going to do to you if you are angled correctly. Or about all they're going to do is blow your tracks off. But the IS-7 started to rush me. So therefore I repaired my tracks, staying angled to him, dinking around, alright, and trying my best just to not get a hit in my weak spots. Now the gun's damaged, but at this range it really doesn't matter, and it goes underneath the E100's lower plate there. So I decided at this point then to repair the damaged gun, alright, and just carry on the fight. Now the IS-7 charged all the way down that road, and then just went back to his original position again, and I managed to track the E100. All I'm doing now, guys, I'm waiting for the rest of my team to basically handle that E-75 and come and support me. I'm not going to do anything too stupid. I'm just going to stay here, give these guys something to shoot at, keep their attention on me, just keep tracking them, annoying them, and all the rest of it. Now we've had a Death Star, an Object 140 join us, so therefore he can start doing some flanking. Alright, the M103 that's been behind me the whole game, he's getting in the fight now. But we are looking pretty dire at 4-8. Just out of interest, guys, that the turret ring of the E100 is actually a weak, but if you get the side of the turret as he turns around, then absolute bonus. And it's at this point I decide it might be a good idea to go. The E100's disappeared, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to push forward, get back behind the IS-7. But I think the E100 is going to reverse into me, so I'm just going to wait just to see if he comes out. Not quite enough, and I think he's going to start side scraping on me pretty soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shot to the IS-7, angle for the E100. Unfortunately he pens anyway. IS-7 doesn't, so I'm going to get the IS-7 on the reload unless he repairs his tracks. Somebody takes him out for me, so I can use this shell to take out the E100, hopefully. But we're playing corners. I don't really want to go around there and lose any more health because we're 6-9 down. So I'm just going to try and bait a shot out of him that's stupidly angled. Now he's starting to side scrape. Crap. Right, I need to track him and jink at the last minute. Alright, to present that big drive wheel towards him, hopefully absorbing the shot, which in that case it did. I'm just going to wait here because... Oh, no. Ah, he had a repair crew. He must have had a repair crew. Oh, his tracks off again. Yeah, this is costing me money to do this, but it's taking the E100 out of the game. At the moment, and allowing another E100 to come around the side of him. I do not know, in the name of all that's holy, how that E4 bounced on me, but that's the notorious thing of the 110 E4's gun. It's absolutely shit, apparently, from what I've heard. It's one of the worst tier 10 tank destroyer guns in the game. And the E-75's left him on a prime shot, lower plate, and it bounces. I took the risk there of coming out sideways on. Not always a wise option, and I managed to take a hit from the IS-8 in the side. I've been ammo racked, which is a bit of a shitter because now my reload's down to 26.49 seconds, but reloaded in time to take out the E4, and I'm backing off now. There's a Foch 155 and an IS-8. We need some serious help here, but I don't think we're going to get it, so I'm got to rely on my E100 buddy. And he's basically going to school this Foch. He really is. Takes out the IS-8, makes him a one-shot for me, so there's my next target, 6 seconds. Come on, don't repair those tracks. Don't repair those tracks, and boom! A headshot. So it's just me and the E100 now. We're against the tank destroyers. We've got to work as a team. I've got a 20-second reload. I'm eating into it, so I decided to have a little bit of a look-see side scraping down the street. And there's the Foch. E-100 plants one into him, and thankfully makes him a one-shot for me. And he's going to give me his side. Oh, yes. Is he? Now, I exposed myself too early there. Big mistake I made there. I made expose myself too early. However, Foch comes for me, and the E-100 takes him out. That was a bit of a scrap, wasn't it? He was. Bit of a scrap. Now, what do we do now? They've got a Jaeger left. We brought this game back from like 8-4 just by being solid in the town, playing our tanks to their strengths, not taking any necessary casualties, allowing the rest of the game to actually develop. But it's a full health Jaeger. Is he going to kill us all? Is he? Balls. This is just a case. Now, this is where the sniping side of it. No. I could sit here and wait for a shot, but I decided to push forward. Because if the object gets one-shotted, you know, the Jaeger can go into the houses and just basically make us get him and get more points. He's not going to win. Not with his reload. Very, very unlikely. Unless we play this like absolute scrubs. I'm just going to speed the game up slightly. Alright. Basically, the 140 is going to get in position. He's going to spot the guy a few times. And the rest of them are just going to nail him. Alright. There's the 140 spotting. E-100 takes a 725 point hit off him. Probably into the side. I come over for a bit of an angled shot, see if I can get over this ridge. Why haven't they fixed the replay system? This is stupid. What have they done to the game? 966, that'll be from the enemy Jaegeru. Oh! And I managed to snipe the kill. And there we have it. Let's have a look at the post-game stats then. And there we have it then. Master badge in the E-75. What do you think to it? I honestly think, I know my meagre offerings of that game weren't exactly fantastic. I didn't do amazingly well. But I think this tank is absolutely fantastic. It is well worth the grind, guys, if you want to go and get it. Alright, get up there. It's a long-ass stock grind, and it's a long-ass grind from the Tiger 2, but it is worth it. Okay, Mastery Badge, Fire for Effect, Shell-Proof, and Bruiser with a steel wall. Alright, did 4 module damage, 4 critical damage to that IS-7, 3 to the IS-7, 4 to the 100. I'd love to see, I wish, if any developers are watching, I'd love to see, on this particular thing of WoT Replays website, if they can actually tell you what modules you damaged. That'd be really, really good, but never mind. 4,000 experience on a ×2, 60,000 credits made on a tier 9. That's not bad at all. Let's just have a look how much damage I did. Okay, I finished top of the team, did 3,594 damage. Not exactly monstrous amount of damage, but most of that damage was done to tier 10 tanks. So that's why. When you shoot a tank higher tier than yours, you get more XP for it. Alright, because they're considered higher tiers. Alright, so never lament that much when you're actually in a higher tier game. You know, just do your best. You know, try and do as much damage as you can because you get more credits and experience. Big shout out to the E-100 who was in the town with me. I can't remember which one of these it was. I think it might have been the bottom one. It might have been the top one. I can't remember. But big shout out to those boys. Yeah, thanks a lot for supporting me and actually not being a complete morons. And managed to make a profit of 39,000. The ammunition isn't actually that expensive. Now, this looks quite cheap, but I've got a lot more ammunition in my depot. I didn't pay for all those ammunition. If you start firing gold in this thing, it's expensive. But made 39,000 credit profit. 5,000 damage blocked by armour. Okay, received 15 hits, only 3 penetrations. There's your stat that you want to look at with the E-75. That is just absolutely fantastic. Alright, 18 shots, 9 penetrations. But when you're shooting at tier 10 tanks, guys, you've got to expect that kind of thing. Alright, so there's an E-75 review for you guys. That's my own personal opinion on it. I think it's an absolute beast. Is it better than the T-29 tier for tier? No, not at all. Because this thing faces guns. My only thing I can put against that is this thing faces guns that makes its armour basically negligible. Whereas the T-29 very rarely does. Alright, its turret armour is just absolutely overpowered at tier 7. So it hasn't nicked the spot for the T-29. Alright, but it is a strong contender for one of the strongest tanks in the game. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye now.